Hello, my name is Yeji, otherwise known as ANdmadeco, here on YouTube and on Instagram. Today I'm coming at you with my January makes video because I don't think I'll be completing any more items in January, and I wanted to upload this in a timely fashion since I know that with my upload schedule, this will go up on February 1st. My filming location is yet again slightly different because I'm coming at you from my main floor. Usually I film upstairs while my husband takes care of the kids downstairs, but my baby is sleeping upstairs, therefore I'm downstairs, and we live in one of those Seattle specials in the townhouses that are straight up, and so the floor plan is pretty similar, and so I'm hoping that the lighting is also pretty similar. It does feel brighter on the main floor because the walls are whiter, and I am sitting slightly further from the camera, seeing if that helps. And so hopefully if any of these things work out, then I can try implementing some of them upstairs as well for when I film next time. As with my other monthly makes videos, for the items that I've completed and I've already talked about this month, I'll list the episode and I'll have all the episodes linked down below, and the item name as well as the designer name. And so if you'd like to find more information on the specific project, then you're able to do so. In episode 14, you can find the Eun Sweater by Anne Fiskum Sunde, and it was my first completed item. I finished it January 1st, so I worked on it mostly in December. And in that episode, I also talk about the Gwedenn Hat by Solan Kui Lohar, and the Gwedenn Hat was a free pattern, or is still a free pattern, and that was from the people from Durham Natura. So that was also a really fun make, and I just met up with my friend yesterday. I gifted it to her boyfriend, and she says that her boyfriend wears it, so that's always nice to hear. In episode 15, I only completed one object, and that's the October hat by Sloan Rosenthal. And this hat I also gifted to Lily, Emily's daughter from the Tea Cozy Yarn Shop, because it turned out a little small. In episode 16, I finished Vest Claire by Mochi Knits, or Claire Vest, as I think Mochi Knits refers to it as Claire Vest, but on Ravelry it's Vest Claire. And this was a sample knit for Tea Cozy Yarn Shop. And I also finished Gnoodles, which is my January gnome that I put into the make along that Sarah Shearer is having on Instagram. She is imagined_landscapes. And in this episode, I also talk about my third Tiilda hat that I made for my mom. And this is a pattern by Anise Singh, and it's also a free hat pattern. So all the hat patterns I've mentioned so far are free, which is really nice. In last week's episode, episode 17, I talk about a plain pair of vanilla socks with a doodle chart from the Doodle Knit Directory by Jamie Lomax. That was a super fun knit to make, as well as Viima Beanie by Veera Valimaki. And Viima Beanie is also a free hat pattern, which I've been loving making hats lately. And that wraps up January until this point, and January has been a very busy month for me. I feel like in terms of making, not in terms of life stuff, as you can see. I've made a lot of things in January. I feel like with all the accessories, the smaller items go by quicker, of course, and I've been knitting a lot since I've been spending a lot of time inside, as the weather in Seattle here isn't that great. Today we're at below freezing temperatures, I think, for the first time in a while, so that's also kind of exciting, and hopefully we'll have a little bit of snow in the coming week. The first finished objects that I want to share with you are very small. I don't have them here to show you because I've already gifted them to Emily for the Tea Cozy Yarn Shop, and they're the Love You Forever by Tanislavely, the hearts. I've talked about this in previous 2 episodes. I completed another 2 hearts, one which was a work in progress last time, so the Knit Pick Stroll Effects in Guppy. In that yarn, I finished an orange heart, and I also finished another one in Knit Picks Stroll and Everglade Heather. I don't have much to say about this other than it's a great free pattern and very apt for this time of year with Valentine's Day coming up, and it was knit on a US 0, a 2mm needle. The next finished object brings us into what I'm currently wearing, and I am wearing Port Jacket by Ozetta, and this was knit on the recommended needle size. So I knit a size 2 on a US 8, a 5mm needle for the body, as well as a US 7, a 4.5mm for the ribbing. And I knit it with the recommended yarn, which is Dexlet Lopi, and I knit it in the color 58 Dark Gray Heather. I will stand up and show you what it looks like. One thing I wanted to mention just before we started talking is that I took photos and videos of this jacket a couple days ago, and when I noticed how it looked buttoned up, I saw that the placket was showing a little bit on the very bottom, so it was kind of sticking out like this. And just before I started filming, I put the button a little further down, and so the placket would be hidden. And so I think it looks a lot better now, but also I think not many people are as critical of the garment as I am of my own make. I talked a lot about the modifications I was making in the previous episode, but just to summarize, I changed the placement of the buttons from the left side to the right side for my husband's to mimic traditional men's jackets. And I also, I think I forgot to mention this, but I also decreased at a much faster rate for the sleeves so that the sleeves wouldn't have as much positive ease. And I think I decreased every 6 rounds. I also shortened up the ribbing from 4 inches to 2 inches on both the sleeves and the hem. Overall, I am very happy with how this garment has turned out. I hope my husband will enjoy it. He's coming back soon, so I can't wait for him to try it out and then for us to take some pictures with him actually modeling it. Currently, the sleeves are slightly long for my taste as well as the body. The port jacket is meant to fit a bust from 30 inches to 60 inches. And I think that the recommended positive ease does decrease as you go up in sizes. I did choose to knit a size 2 because I'm hoping that the drop shoulder won't be as dramatic on my husband and that the drop will fit actually on the outside of the edge of his shoulder. And I think that suits his style a little better than what is recommended in the sample and the patterns. So we'll see when he comes and tries it on. So the Letlopi is quite rustic, and when you're working with it, it does feel rustic in the hand, but I didn't feel uncomfortable working with it. And overall, it was really nice to work with. But after I've blocked it, it's very warm and it's also quite soft, especially on the neck. I don't find it itchy at all. And currently this floor is cooler than upstairs, but it is still quite warm. So I'm finding it comfortable. So I'm hoping that my husband does as well. I know that he's looking for a cardigan or a jacket to take into work once his paternity leave is over. And so hopefully he can keep this in the office and wear it when it does get chilly. And that's all I have to really say about the port jacket. I'll definitely have pictures of him wearing it next week. My next finished object is the Sophie Hood by Petite Knit, and I can't believe I finished this in time. Last week I had just started, and so I paired together these yarns. This is the Fiberco Zero in Angelic as well as Regia 4-ply in 1992 Off-White. And the Fiberco Zero is 40% alpaca, 40% cotton, and 20% wool. And the 4-ply is your normal 75-25 sock yarn. And I really enjoy how these two pair together. It creates a very squishy fabric, especially with the garter edge, the garter stitch in the Sophie Hood. It's really nice to feel and also to wear. So I'll have some clips of me wearing it and testing it, but this is a very, very long hood. I think it's around 5'5", which is how tall I am, which is around 165 centimeters on just one side. So it's double that. And although it does taper at the end, the middle part does get quite long when you are knitting it. The reason that mine also is a lot longer than what the pattern entails is because I accidentally added 50 rows on my increases. And so I had to add 50 more rows on my decreases because I originally thought that I needed like 10, I think 100 more rows than I did need. And so I managed to stop myself by reading ahead in the pattern, thank goodness, but I still was at a point where I had already added 50 rows. And my sister did ask for a large scarf. And so I warned her about it. She said it was okay. And so this is what happened. So everybody's knitting the Sophie Hood, and I know it's been talked about a lot even now, but what you do is you start at one end, you increase all the way up, you create the hooded portion, and then you just do the decreases back all the way down, and then you mattress stitch the edge of your hood together. And so It creates for quite a well-finished accessory with the I-cord edging. I can see why people love making the Sophie series, Sophie shawl, Sophie scarf, as well as the Sophie hood so much. It is really nice to just start off. It doesn't seem like it's a large undertaking, because I know that when I created the half and half triangles wrap, that one, when you cast on 260 stitches, and so it even seemed pretty daunting to cast on. And then even though you are decreasing for the first triangle, it seemed like a lot, whereas here you're starting off at basically nothing and then you're tapering up, so it's very gradual. And I can see myself making more of the hoods or even the scarves. I would like to make one in Cardiff cashmere, and hopefully then to give to a friend, but I'd have to get the cashmere for it. But I can see why people are so into this pattern, because it doesn't take as much yarn as you would think, and also it creates a really nice shape, and I think it lays on the neck very well. So for this, even though I did do a large plus an extra large, I guess, with my extra 100 rows in this pattern, I only used 2 and not even a half of the zero, and I only needed 1.5 balls basically of the Regia 4 plies. So I have this much, 10 grams, as well as a whole another ball left. And for the zero, I bought 4 of these balls, and I have 1 and 60% left of this ball, which comes in 50 grams, and it's sport weight. So I still have quite a bit of yarn left, and I'm very surprised just at how much you get for how little yarn you use. It's almost an optical illusion because of that taper in the front, which doesn't take much yarn at all. I really like the fact that you could wear this with the hood up and the hood down, and because it isn't one where you have a drawstring or an I-cord to tighten it up near your face, you can tighten it up just by the weight of the scarf itself. And also for this specific one, it is a cream color, so I don't know if my sister wants it super near her face when she does have makeup on. So I think just the fact that she's able to adjust how she wears it is really nice as well. And she doesn't wear much makeup, so I don't think she'll get anything on here. Whereas for me, because I put on bronzer and I put on lipstick all the time, I think that if I was to make a Sophie hood for myself, it would be in a darker color, just so I wouldn't have to wash it as often. The alpaca content in here really ensures that it is going to be a really warm accessory, and I hope that the alpaca cotton will also prevent it from pilling. But I also know that the Regia 4 ply sock yarn doesn't pill that well, so I don't think pilling will be an issue with this accessory. And I'm just so happy to be done and to be able to give something to somebody I love. And that's it for what I've completed this week. This week, I really only did the button band as well as the collar of the port jacket. And once this was blocking and finished, I worked on the Sophie hood like mad. I was determined to get it done, and so I didn't have time to create any of the hats that I wanted to for my parents, so that will have to be a project that I do for next week. I don't have any hats to show you as a work in progress. I haven't even started on those, but I do have a couple of socks that I'd like to share, and the first is matching socks with Stella from Milk Enthusiast. Her Instagram handle is Milk Enthusiast, and we are both using West Yorkshire Spinners signature 4 ply, and so we are using Rouge 1000 for the cuffs, the heels, and the toes, as well as Christmas Robin for the main sock. When she was here on Sunday, we cast on together, and that's all I have to show is how much we've done together. But I did change to a 9-inch circular from my magic loop because I needed the longer needles to do heels on my next sock that I'll show you. But I'm very happy that we're able to use the yarns that we already had. So after I went to the Fiber Gallery last week during their closing sale, I sent a picture to Stella showing her what I got, and she said that she also has this, which is the West Yorkshire Spinner signature 4 ply and Christmas Robin. And so we decided to make matching socks when she was here last Sunday. And then I have this, which is a Rouge 1000 that I also bought last week, and so we split it. I gave her, I think, 20 grams, and so we're able to make completely matching socks. For me, it's exciting because it's my first time making matching socks or a matching item with any of my friends in real life, and so this is really nice. And Although I only have this much done of the socks, I'm excited to continue working on this. We set a deadline for ourselves for the end of February, so this will be my February socks, and I'm very excited. So my next project is also a sock, and it is also a heel flap gusset, plain vanilla sock, and I am on the heel flap right now, which is why I needed my longer cables. This is the Freckled Whimsy 2024 Advent in Merry and Bright, and it was a gift. The yarn was a gift from Betsy from Maker's Night, so thank you again, Betsy. And the cuffs I've already had. This is Paintbox Fair Isle in Winter Flowers. And so I have been able to cast on, or I have gotten to the heel flap of one of the socks, but the other one is trailing behind, and I am only still on the first pair of stripes. When Betsy mentioned these and she said pairs of stripes, first I was kind of confused on what pairs of stripes meant, but now I understand because each color comes in two pairs, each color comes in a pair, and it is a darker version of that color and a lighter version. So you have a darker blue, a lighter blue. And I am so happy with how these are knitting up. I cannot wait to finish it. I think that I love self-striping socks. They're so fun. And the actual fabric of these socks are really nice. It almost feels kind of silky. It's very smooth compared to even the Paintbox yarn, which is quite rustic. And so I'm excited to see how these will wear. I hope this is a shorter episode than the previous two. I know those two have been quite long because the acquisition portions were quite long. This week I did not buy any more yarn, and I am using some of the yarn that I bought at the Fiber Gallery, so that feels really good. And I cannot wait to make more of the things that I want to make for this week. I will be working on the hats first, and then hopefully we'll also cast on my anemone sweater. Before I let you go, I wanted to wish everybody a happy Lunar New Year. So if you're Korean, 새해 복 많이 받으세요. If you're Chinese, 恭喜发财, 新年快乐. And even if you don't celebrate, I hope that everybody will have a great year filled with love, fortune, and happiness. A prosperous year, as you'd say. And thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you are able to. And I will see you next week. Bye.